Get to your phone calls, settle on a poll question. We'll hear from Michael Jordan talking about load management last night. We bring in Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk Live co-host, former NFL quarterback. You can also see him on Football Night in America. If I gave you the Chiefs or the field in the AFC, who are you taking?
Oh, wow. That's a good one right there. Whoo, man. I'm probably going to take the field, okay, but I don't feel comfortable about that. I wouldn't put money on that. I would not. But yes, the Chiefs have figured out a lot of things, and the AFC has left the door open here while they got their feet underneath them and got healthy here to where, yeah, now there's no question they're one of the top teams in the AFC once again.
What do you need to see from the Colts where you would acknowledge they could be the best team in the AFC?
No, I will acknowledge that already and tell you I don't need to see anything. They are the best team in the AFC right now. If you go look at it, maybe if there was something I'd like to see improved, could they use maybe one more difference maker? Right? Would they be in the trade deadline business here of maybe getting a guy at the corner position that might be available out there? But, man, Lou Anarumo's done a really good job with that defense, and you could see, right? I mean, if he's got a few players, he can make it work. And where they're good is, yeah, they might let up a few yards on defense, but they make you kick field goals. They're pretty good at not letting you in the end zone. And then we know on the offense, Dan, there's nothing with the offense. I mean, the offense is borderline perfect. Shane Steichen is one of the best offensive minds in the sport. You're seeing what Daniel Jones can do with a little talent around him, the O-line, the tight end, the receivers. I mean, the running back, of course, is an MVP player. So they got it all right there in Indianapolis. They're a Super Bowl contending type team.
I think it's a good story. They remind me of last year's Vikings where we were like, let's wait and see when we get to the playoffs. And we saw what happened to the Vikings when they got to the playoffs.
Right. Well, I think I look at this as more offensive versatility and more danger that way. That's where I'd look at it to be a little different than the Vikings. With the Indianapolis Colts' ability to run the football, that to me makes them a little bit in a different class than last year's Vikings football team because they can control the line of scrimmage. And as you know, when you do that, the play action pass and all the other things that Shane Steichen has to deliver in that offense are pretty special off it. They got it all on that side of the ball there in Indianapolis.
You got Lamar Jackson coming back. Going to play against the Dolphins. Are we getting to must-win situation time?
I think so. Basically, we I think last week started that. And the encouraging thing, right, where there's some teams out there where I'd go, I don't see it, right? Like the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't see it. It ain't going to get much better. This is what they are. Like, don't hope for anything more that way. There's teams like that out there. Baltimore, on the other hand, I look at them and go, no. I see some things about their team to go watch out. One, their schedule is very favorable. Yeah. They can go on a run here where we could look up in a few weeks and go, man, they're 7-5 all of a sudden. Lamar coming back. I got no worries about their offense with Lamar at quarterback. They can run the ball pretty good, as we know, maybe not as good as everybody wants. But with him at quarterback, I mean, their offense, I don't worry. The defense got healthy last week, Dan. That was the big thing. I didn't realize they were going to be back to full strength, right? And they look good. And that's one thing you look at to go, yeah, it's been underwhelming, but they can fix that area, and they give me some hope there from what I saw on film watching them back this weekend.
Why are the Falcons a mess?
That's a great question. One, I mean, the all over the place, that's a little bit having to do with leadership and then the coaches keeping them, focused on the right things on a week in, week out basis. But that was a shocking game last weekend. I think, one, they're not patient enough with the run at times. For as good as they are in the run still, they don't throw play action pass very much. And they've tried to dabble in that a little bit more, but that makes no sense. You have Bijan Robinson on that O-line, and you don't have a play-action pass game that's like in-depth and can attack off of that. That's another issue there. So I think, those are a few of the things, but that's one that's hard for me to put my finger on it because they're more talented than what their record shows right now.
We're talking to Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk Live co-host. Let's redraft the 2024 draft. So you have Caleb, you have Jaden, Drake May, Michael Penix, Bo Nix.
Right.
Redraft.
Okay, so I still think I'm going to give Jaden number one right now. I understand how awesome Drake May has been, right? I get that, and I'm guessing that's where you're asking this question because it's been awesome, and he deserves to be in the MVP conversation for me as well there. But yeah, I'm still going to go Jaden from everything we saw. And the year he had last year, a little banged up this year, but he's won. Now, this is where it gets interesting between Drake May and I'm still going to go with Caleb Williams here because I'm such a believer in Caleb Williams' talent. No, it's those two, as I'm saying. And I don't know. It's close between that. I'm going to take Caleb Williams, but saying that, man, I'm just giving it just a little bit of, I believe in Caleb Williams. He's not playing the position quite as well as Drake May right now, but he's also going through a learning process.
You don't sound very confident.
Well, because it's a close one, and I'm hemming and hawing here and trying to figure it out on the fly here. But no, this is the other thing with Caleb Williams where I defend him. He's learning to play a style of offense and quarterback that he's never played before, and it's been pretty damn good, and it was better than people wanted to give him credit for last year. Now throwing the ball in rhythm and staying in the pocket and doing that stuff, yeah, he's been able his whole life, as you know, to be able to make magic happen and make it all go. And now he's kind of being rewired there. So I think that's why you have moments of going, oh, I don't know if that looks as good as I would like. But Dan, I will still tell you, he makes throws and scrambles and runs where I go, that's better than any of these guys in this rookie class that we're talking about. His arm is special, his athleticism is special. But I'm going to go him 2. I'll go Drake May 3. I'll go Bo Nix 4. I'll go Michael Penix 5. And I'll go J.J. McCarthy 6.
Okay, but if you look at this and you say, okay, you're hoping Caleb does what Drake May is actually doing.
Right. Well, yeah, I think a little bit of that.
I mean, Bo Nix too.
All right, so who's playing better at this second right now? Yes, it's Drake May. But we get into these quarterback conversations too, and this is where it's hard sometimes, and this is where I fell into this with, let's just say, Jordan Love and Tua. I loved Jordan Love coming out in the draft. At first, I ranked him in front of Tua. But recognizing, wait, he's not as good as Tua right now, but his talent, and if you just wait 2 or 3 more years, he'll be better than Tua. And so that's where I get stuck in that combo. Drake May's hotter right now. He's playing better than Caleb Williams for sure. But I guess what I'm saying is I think Caleb Williams is going to get there under Ben Johnson and ultimately surpass Drake May, I guess is what my belief is still.
I see Cam Ward play on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Okay, the team isn't good. But he is not good. Not right now. And if I look at Dylan Gabriel, who wasn't the number 1 pick overall, hasn't played well, plays for a bad team, and everybody's clamoring for Shedeur Sanders to get a chance why aren't they doing something, with Cam Ward that should you sit him down? His numbers are terrible.
Right. Well, yeah, they're terrible.
So we can say the Browns aren't any good and Dylan Gabriel isn't any good. Okay, Cam Ward's the number 1 pick in the draft. If his name was Caleb Williams, we would be criticizing him. He would be a focal point of all of these shows. Cam Ward doesn't have any social media presence, but you have Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland. So we're not being fair to Dylan Gabriel, and because he's a 3rd-round pick. He plays for a bad team, but Cam Ward is a number 1 overall pick.
Right. Well, you make a lot of good points there. First off, you just explained that there's unwarranted criticism of Caleb Williams too much. I don't know why. Right? I don't know why with that.
Because you get clicks. That's why he got criticized.
He painted his fingernails. He had a pink phone. He went to USC.
He's
and
polarizing.
He cried after a game, and it became a thing where I'm going to go, yeah, but he makes some of the damnedest plays and throws I've ever seen in the history of the game.
I just don't think there's proper analysis, Chris.
I get you there.
That's all.
Where it's different here and where I'll say to you, first off, the Titans, come on. It's a freaking disaster. A disaster.
Are they worse than the Browns?
Yeah, yes, they are. The Browns have an all-star defense. If the Browns just have an offense at all, they'd be a real pain in the butt. That's the problem, right? So I think I'd look at that. I mean, the Titans. I mean, they're the coach that just got fired. He didn't know the rules of what a receiver getting in bounds is. I mean, that was a disaster there. I don't know what else to say. Cam Ward makes a few plays in every game, Dan, that I go, whoa. Makes a few throws every game where I sit here in the NBC viewing room and everyone goes, oh my gosh, Cam Ward. Dylan Gabriel's had 0 of those plays yet. Dylan Gabriel has moments where I go, I would never make him my starting quarterback. Are you kidding me? See ya. Let's call Shador and figure that out now. So I'm already in. Let's do the Shador thing, and not necessarily knocking on Dylan Gabriel all the way, because they doesn't have a great offense around him either. But they need to figure out what they got there, because they're going to be right back in the quarterback draft market once again, and that's the only reason I say that. But yeah, Cam Ward's shown me some elite stuff, at least along the way. Dylan Gabriel is not to this point.
Okay, if Shador Sanders was putting up Dylan Gabriel numbers, nobody would be saying, you got to put in Dylan Gabriel.
No, probably not. No, and that's that. No, but that's not fair. And I agree with you there. And that's the problem with that's why, the analytics said to draft Shador Sanders. Well, the human analytics have said it's stupid, and it's the number one thing that's a distraction and talked about your football team all year. We don't talk about anything in Cleveland except Shador Sanders. Myles Garrett had 5 sacks. Is Shador going to start? So that's what's crazy and not fair to your point, 100%.
Okay, you get 1 pick in the NFC. You can take that team against everybody else.
Gosh, the NFC. So I think the NFC is so much better than the AFC, right? I mean, it's not even close to me. I mean, again, you're talking about Kansas City, who's 5-3. Are they the best team in the AFC, right? And there's flaws with everybody. The Chargers in the playoffs, flaws. Buffalo's flaws. Pittsburgh, oh my gosh, flaws, right? New England and Denver, there's still new kids on the block, right? After that, it's Jacksonville and Houston, flaws everywhere. The NFC, I go, Green Bay, oh my gosh, no flaws, just play better. You're amazing. Philadelphia, oh my gosh, no flaws, just play a little more efficient on offense. You're amazing. Tampa Bay, you're awesome. Just get healthy and you're elite. Detroit, do I have to say any more? I mean, we know Detroit's elite. The Rams, the Seahawks are a Super Bowl-like caliber football team with their defense and all of that. So I just look at the NFC and go, oh my gosh, wow. Now you're going to make me pick one? Woo. I feel Detroit right now. That's what I feel. Now, they got to get healthy in the secondary too. But I think if you made me pick one, I'm going to take Detroit. But it is close in the NFC, and there's a lot of teams in that Super Bowl window.
The best team that plays at SoFi Stadium is?
Is definitely the Rams. The Rams, yeah. The Chargers, the offensive line injuries just decimated them, right? And now they can't run the ball, and it's Justin Herbert just carry us every week on that side of the ball. They are very good in pass defense, but they don't have enough difference makers in their front seven with the Chargers. The Rams can win the Super Bowl. I don't feel that way about the Chargers.
Before I let you go, your alma mater, Texas, Steve Sarkisian, there was a report that said that he or his people were kicking the tires on him being a head coach in the NFL. What do you make of that?
I don't really buy that. Now, do I think maybe one of these owners that's looking to get a head coach might have said something to Diana Rossini or somebody out there to go, yeah, Steve Sarkisian, we're looking at him too. Did that happen? I don't doubt that. Do I think the NFL is clamoring for Steve Sarkisian? No, not right now, especially, you had the number 1 pick of the draft and he's fallen to 171 here? The offense doesn't look good? Like, this is not the time you want to get Steve Sarkisian in. Mm-mm. And the other thing I would just argue is, I mean, there's not a better job in sports than being the head coach at Texas. You get paid like you're a big-time professional head coach, and you're the king of the land, as you know. And they got it rolling at Texas. They're not playing as good this year, but, yeah, I don't see that happening, Dan.
What do you make of Arch? Has Arch turned the corner here?
The fourth quarter I thought was his best quarter last week of his season, right? He made some throws and some plays where I went, whoa, there's the Arch Manning I remember and saw a little last year and all that. I think that, his mechanics and his throwing just were not up to his standards or the way he threw it last year when he got in. And I think, Dan, when it happens, and you know this, when you don't throw the ball well and you don't trust where the ball's going to go, it starts to affect your decision making. And I feel like that happened with him as well. Plus, they weren't able to run the ball the majority of the year or help him out that way. So, yeah, I mean, he's going to be back at school. There's no way he should go out in the draft. And, I think that'll be good for him and my Texas Longhorns.
Okay, but every year at the draft, we talk about next year's draft class with quarterbacks. It's usually not this draft class. So people were talking about this at the draft in Green Bay about, oh, my God, wait till next year. Well,
I know.
There's one guy who might be a top 10 pick, and that's Mendoza at Indiana, I'm guessing. Mel Kiper talked about this. You got guys that are going to be going back to school. Like they're not coming out.
Like Dante Moore has that type of talent. I hope he goes back to Oregon, though. I'd like to see him get one more year and experience there. I think it'll help him out. The guy I would tell you, though, that I would put every bit in Mendoza's class is the kid at Alabama, Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes more wow plays and throws to me on a weekly basis than Mendoza. But there's some good quarterbacks out there, you're right. But it's going to be about who comes out. And yes, Dan, every year, unqualified people make qualifying statements about the draft and what's going to happen next year. Cade Klubnik, I was watching it last year. I was like, if he's the number one pick next year, people were saying that. He's a top 5 pick. I'm going, are we watching the same game? He's a good player.
Nussmeier.
Right.
Beck.
Nussmeier, I think, has fought through some injury, and I do think there's some talent there. I think he had an oblique strain. I think that affected his throwing this year. But yeah, it hasn't been up to the standards of what we were, sold in the last offseason.
Yeah. It's just we love to hype these quarterbacks, and then
quarterback,
and then we blame them when they don't live up to our expectations.
Exactly right, exactly right. It's a messed up thing, and that's where I blame Brady and Manning, because just all those years of those teams being good and them being the quarterbacks, it just changed the public's perception of like, well, if you got a quarterback, you should win every year. If you got a quarterback, you should win every year. And as we know, it's the ultimate team sport. And if you don't got the right team around you, you're not going to look that good at quarterback.
More impactful as a quarterback, Peyton Manning or Tom Brady? As far as style and everything they brought, Peyton changed the game.
Yeah. And Tom changed the game too. Now, they did it in different ways. I can tell you in their prime, right, that when Peyton Manning came to town, our team was more nervous than Tom Brady. All right. When Tom Brady came to town, it was like, oh, gosh, it's the Patriots and Belichick and Brady, right? When it was the Colts, the whole locker room and the coaching staff was like, the sheriff's coming, Peyton's coming, Peyton's coming. Uh-oh, red alert, get your defensive checks ready. Holy crap, here we go. Hey, Sims, you're the scout team quarterback. Can you be Peyton Manning this week? We need you to make 97 checks and do it all. So
wait, you had to imitate Peyton Manning?
I always had to do Peyton Manning, especially in Tennessee. I always did. And I'd go, and I took great pride in doing that.
How did it sound? Give me a little Peyton Manning.
Well, I just had all his mannerisms down. I'd be underneath the center, and I'd fix my hip leg, and I'd walk down and go down and, and do all that stuff. I didn't exactly emulate his accent or do anything of that. But, man, that's where Peyton Manning is one of the greatest ever, right? He really was. So he changed the game as far as giving control back to the quarterback at the line of scrimmage and do all that stuff, right? And putting more on the quarterback. That's where he changed the game. Brady changed the game, and he changed his throwing mechanics once to extend his career and become a better thrower. And, of course, what he did health and longevity-wise. So there's a little bit of both. X's and O's, and football-wise, I'll go with Peyton Manning. Off the field, lasting, keeping yourself in tip-top shape, I go with Tom Brady.
Good to talk to you.
You know it, man. You're the man. Tell those jerks I said hi over there, all right?
Hey, jerks. Chris says hello.
Thanks.
Hey, jerks. Hi, how are you, jerks? See you later.
That's Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk Live co-host. We'll take a break. Our play of the day is next.